What this double amputee veteran told Trump has him jumping up and cheering like crazy. Brian Mast, RFL, is a veteran and a double amputee, and he absolutely ripped apart the Democrats on the House floor on Thursday. He did it because of all their false statements about the Republican healthcare bill. Watch him call out their lies. Brian Mast: I too am a person with pre-existing conditions, and I believe it's not something I should just do but a responsibility for me to be the staunchest advocate for people out there who have pre-existing conditions. And that is why I'm such an ardent supporter of this bill. I think every American and every person out there with pre-existing conditions should be asking themselves, how is it that they have coverage if every single insurance provider has pulled out of the market? If there's no entity to go out there and provide insurance, how is it that pre-existing conditions could possibly be covered? Brian Mast then ripped the lying Democrats apart. It is the exact same group of people that went out there and lied to the face of every single American, telling them that if they liked their plan they would keep their plan, if they liked their doctor, they could keep their doctor. That the average American would save $2,500 a year on their health care insurance. That was a bold-faced lie. Brian Mast served in the U.S. Army and was an explosive disposal technician and suffered from stepping on ice as he was serving in Afghanistan. He lost both of his legs and one of his fingers. Spread his words everywhere, and please, please, please give this hero a God bless in the comments. Thanks for sharing, Patriots, and thank you for reading. Look what Ivanka Trump did immediately after leaving her house this morning. Ivanka Trump was all smiles as she stepped out of her Washington, D.C. home on this morning after her 5-year-old daughter Arabella happily passed out donuts to the Secret Service agents outside their residence. Ivanka stunned in her country-inspired dress, which she paired with nude stiletto sandals, a nude handbag from her eponymous fashion line, and a gold chain necklace. The 35-year-old mom looked ready for spring in a navy and white gingham print dress that belted at her waist, and for the second time this week, her eldest daughter kicked off her morning by treating their Secret Service team with donuts. The little girl was escorted by a Secret Service agent as she carried the plate filled with goodies to the group of men working outside her home, and they gladly grabbed some of the breakfast treats. And Arabella's newfound interest in sharing baked goods is becoming somewhat of a tradition for the family. Earlier this week, Ivanka's husband Jared Kushner helped Arabella carry a plate of sugar donuts outside, so she could offer them to the Secret Service agents. During today's early morning visit, Arabella appeared to be in the midst of getting ready for the day. What do you think about this? Comment below. Holy crap! It only took Trump 3 months to show America how incompetent Obama truly was. This is huge. In what has resulted in being an unprecedented recovery for the United States job market in history. It's now being reported the U.S. unemployment rate has officially fallen to a 10-year low of 4.4% during the month of April. Last time we saw numbers this low was in 2007, before President Obama and his party took over all branches of government. This is a huge and undeniable accomplishment for our new President Donald J. Trump, which so many people thought wasn't going to work out because he wasn't of the establishment elite of neither party, to cause this mess to begin with by enacting idiot regulations and burdens on our economy in the name of the fake science called global warming. The Washington Examiner reports. Job growth kicked back into gear in April, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported Friday, as the economy added 211,000 new jobs and the unemployment rate ticked down to 4.4%, the lowest such rate since May of 2007. The growth in payrolls easily beat forecasters' expectations, which were for job creation to recover to around 185,000 after last month's disappointing 98,000 number, which was revised down to 79,000 on Friday. Friday's report indicates that the underlying trend remains strong, likely to provide a boost to President Trump and affirm the Federal Reserve in its plans for raising interest rates and tightening monetary policy this year. I think it's a strong employment number, said Bryce Doty, senior portfolio manager at Sid Investment Associates, saying that Friday's report will cement the Fed's decision to raise rates again in June. Only about 50,000 to 100,000 jobs are needed each month to prevent unemployment from rising. Over the past 3 months, monthly jobs growth has averaged 174,000, including revisions. With unemployment already below what Fed officials have estimated represents a fully healthy economy, economists would expect wage growth to accelerate. The household survey in Friday's report, however, showed hourly earnings growth slowing from 2.7% annually to 2.5%. While disappointing, slow wage growth, taken together with continued robust job growth, could be a good sign, and that it suggests that there were, even more, workers sidelined by the recession willing to work than the Fed has thought all along, and that the U.S. can create many more jobs without seeing inflation rising above the Fed's target. Friday's report hinted that there does indeed remain deep labor supply. At 62.9% in April, the labor force participation rate has held steady since late 2013, defying the ongoing demographic trends pushing down on labor force participation. Since the start of the recession, workforce participation has plummeted, reflecting two factors: the retirement of the baby boom generation and other demographic changes, and the fact that the downturn forced many people to simply quit the job hunt and fall out of the Bureau's calculation of the unemployed. In the past several years, though, it appears as though the cyclical part of the decline has reversed itself to some extent as better job prospects have enticed more people into the job search, propping up labor force participation. Other details from Friday's report represented encouraging news. The broadest measure of underemployment, the U6 unemployment rate, fell in April to 8.6%, a rate not seen since November of 2007, the month before the recession officially began. The U6 rate includes people forced into part-time work and people only sporadically looking for work, as well as the unemployed. When you combine all those together, it's a pretty impressive number, said Doty. What those of us who were called names and branded as ignorant for getting on the Trump train from day one during the Republican primaries already knew all along has now officially happened. The U.S. economy bounced back with furor under President Trump. It was clearly obvious to all us Trumpers that a successful billionaire businessman would be able to pull the economy out of the depression it was in for the last 8 dark years. Where the only people doing well were the rich who weren't affected by Obamacare and its socialistic price hike, fees, and taxes that decimated the middle class by totally taking away the meager disposable income most peons like we have. It only took President Trump 100 days to register what former President Barack Hussein Obama wasn't able to muster in his whole 8 long years of being president. Of course, liberal scumbags will start saying their messiah was the reason the economy has taken such an upturn. Of course, like good wannabe Marxists, they will probably go on to blame his predecessor President George W. Bush for the reason their messiah wasn't able to reach this goal. Make America great again. One job at a time, Governor refuses to remove migrants from this farmer's land, so he took matters into his own hands. A man in Wales was outraged recently when he learned that a gang of migrants had set up an illegal camp surrounding his parents' home. He was even more furious when he learned the local government was refusing to do anything about it, despite the fact that his parents were fearful for their lives. He decided to take matters into his own hands. According to reports, the Basildon Borough Council originally cleared the refugee camp, but human rights activists intervened. The council told 36-year-old Chris Walsh that they were powerless to stop the refugees. Walsh was not willing to take that answer. He responded by sending the council a letter explaining that he intended to reposition the migrants themselves. I am writing to you as a concerned citizen, highly concerned son, and honest hard-working taxpayers regarding the atrocious treatment of my pensioner parents, and their settled resident neighbors at the hands of the Basildon Council and their, from what I can garner, hopelessly inept planning team. I am sorely tempted to take a dumper truck full of hardcore and deposit it outside of Basildon Council's offices. I wonder what your response to that would be? Would you stand by and allow it as you are doing in this case? The area is subject to massive illegal development, Walsh added. Travelers have started to redevelop land that is subject both to previous eviction and current injunction to prevent further development. As of this morning, fence posts